Hello everyone, hola a todos y a todas. Os doy la bienvenida a la sesión informativa del grado de Técnicas de Aplicaciones de Software. Solo quería recordaros que como este es un grado que se imparte en inglés, el idioma de esta sesión informativa será el inglés. Si queréis más información en catalán o en castellano, podéis encontrarla en la página web del programa. So hello everyone and welcome to this briefing session about the bachelor's degree in techniques for software development. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Robert Clarisó. I'm the academic director of this bachelor's degree. I have, my background is I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I also have a PhD in computer science. And I have more than 15 years of experience teaching computer science in a virtual setting. I also have more than 20 years of experience working on software engineering from a research point of view, working on formal methods and software engineering. So I would like to take the opportunity to present this bachelor's degree, which is offered by the Faculty of Computer Science, Multimedia and Telecomunications at the Universitat Oberta de Catalunya. Before going into the details about the degree, I would just like to show you some numbers, some figures about the teaching that we do at the Faculty of Computer Science at UOC. So just so that you have an overview of the size of this institution. So currently we have more than 30,500 students enrolled in technical programs in the Faculty of Computer Science. And over the years, we have more than 11,800 graduates. So we have a large teaching staff that takes care of these students. We have 112 tutors, and we also have more than 1,000 course instructions and coordinating professors. Later on, we will go into the details about these different roles and the role that they will play along your degree. But before that, I would just like to start by talking a bit more about why we are offering a bachelor's degree in techniques for software development and about the software development professional profile. Okay, so if we take a look at what the software developer does, it's a professional that takes care of all the aspects of the creation of software systems. So he takes care from the design, the implementation, the testing part, the deployment, and also the maintenance of all the applications that run today's infrastructure, today's mobile phone applications, today's house appliances, everything works with software. So the software developer is the person who makes sure that this software exists, that it behaves correctly, and that is completed on time according to the needs of a set of stakeholders. So to do that, he has to communicate effectively with these stakeholders in order to understand the problem that he needs to solve. And he also needs to communicate with other developers, because most projects that he undertakes are larger than the ones that a single person could deal with. So he has to work with a team of other professionals that work collaboratively to reach a goal. Okay, so in this development process, the software developer is concerned with many different aspects of the software development process, like the scope of the application being developed, the quality, that the development completes on time, as I mentioned, that it scales, that it supports the number of users and the volume of data that is required in order for it to work, and also that is maintained correctly, so that errors are identified and are fixed in a timely manner. Okay, so what kind of professional profiles do software developers take in companies? So there are very different ways to describe the profile of software developers. Some people take a look at the role. So what is the label that is given to the software developer? Some people are called developers or consultants. Some just focus on a particular phase of the software development process. Maybe they are called quality assurance engineers or testing engineers. Some focus on the development itself, like DevOps, or some are even managers or team leaders within a group of developers. We can also try to classify developers according to the platform where the software that they are creating is working. So some people describe themselves as desktop developers or web developers or mobile developers. Some others working, for example, for embedded devices. So we have a wide variety of platforms in which developers work. And also some developers think of themselves according to the domain where the software applications they are creating work. Some consider them that they are working in a health domain or they are working in video games. Each of these sectors requires particular technologies, particular regulations, and particular business knowledge that is particular to each of these categories. So we can take a look at the software developer from a wide variety of perspectives. So what all of these people have in common, all of these roles, all of these platforms, all of these domains, what all of these have in common is that software developer requires a mixture of both technical and non-technical skills, soft skills. So on the one hand, he needs to be able to create a system that works correctly, so that works efficiently, that scales and so on. So he needs to be able to know the algorithms that and to select the proper algorithms in order to solve problems. He needs to have a sound sound software engineering techniques in order to make sure that the software development process has quality, that there are few errors, that errors can be detected using testing, that they can be easily fixed, and that the software development process ends in a timely manner. He also needs to, in order to develop software, he needs to know the latest programming languages and software development tools that are used for the creation of software. He also needs to know how to store the information that the software system is creating and is managing using the database engines. He needs to consider the user experience. So what is the goal of the user and how does the application help, either in a visual way and through the different navigation through the application. All these user experience, he needs to take that into account. He also needs to know and to understand how the underlying computer and operating system work. And he needs to be aware of the network. So operations do not work on isolation. They typically require accessing servers, accessing remote data, or communicating with all devices, and or even accessing cloud services. All this needs to be taken into account when developing a modern application. On the other hand, a software developer needs to communicate. So the first skill would be being able to communicate with the stakeholders, as we mentioned. And this profession is a profession which is growing more global every day. So English is the technical language, so you will find all the technical documentation in English everywhere, but you will also find that every time companies have, either they have clients or they have projects that are international. So you have international stakeholders, international team members, and you need to be able to communicate with them in English. This is one of the reasons why the language of instruction of this degree is English, in order to facilitate this transition from the degree into a professional position. Also, apart from these communication skills that we mentioned, the ability to work as a team, even if it's a remote team, is also something very important. And as we know, the profession is not set in stone. So what we now consider something that is modern, it might be outdated in a few years. So you also need to be able to learn and to adapt to new environments and new technologies. Okay, so this is something that is critical. And regarding the good part for software developers right now, so they are in a very good moment right now, because this professional profile is having a very high demand from all sectors. Sorry. So we are reaching almost full employment, and also the forecast that consider what will be the position like in 10 years are also stating that there will be a rising demand and rising salaries for software development positions, both in Europe, both in the US, and also globally around the world. So it's a very good time to be a software developer, and the perspective seems to be better in the future. Also, something good is that there is a wide diversity in the type of job openings that are appearing. We are not talking just about corporations. So we have both offers in the positions in the public sector, in the private sector, in different kinds of companies, from startups or people working as freelance or consultants. You can also work in a multinational company and so on. and with a diversity of domains and technologies, so that you can choose. This is a very good, a very good position to be in. Also, we need to take into account something that is quite recent, which is the fact that remote work has now is every day more accepted as a means of work, thanks to COVID, or due to COVID-19. So this is creating opportunities in the sense that now you can work in a company that is in another country from your country of origin, and this opens up very new interesting positions that otherwise you might not be able to take. So this is something that is very interesting. And we hear about companies stating that they have problems filling in positions, in software development positions, because companies abroad are, well, they are just pitching the best workers in order to fill their own positions. So now that we have a picture about the software development field and the profile of the software developer, I would like to move on to presenting the degree, the proposal that we are presenting from UOC, in order to teach you how to become one of these software developers. So this is a bachelor's degree. This is an official degree. It's an official degree in Spain, and also as Spain is within the European higher education area, it's official within all the European higher education area, which provides a very high amount of recognition internationally. As we already mentioned, the language of instruction is English, as we are trying to promote this global outreach of this software development position. This is a degree with 2 semesters and 2 starting points throughout the year. So you can start either in September or in February right now. And this is a 3-year degree, which is 100 ECTS credits. The ECTS credit is the measurement of a student workload in the European higher education area. And one of each European ECTS credits corresponds to 25 hours of student workload. So if you are in a course with 6 ECTS, which is the majority of the courses in this degree, you will be working for 150 hours in the contents of that course. Okay, so the courses last for 1 semester. As I mentioned, the majority of the courses require 6 ECTS credits, and there are 2 courses, the internship and the final project, which have 12 ECTS credits. So because they have a higher workload than a regular course. We have different types of courses, the basic ones, which are the ones that you take at the beginning of the degree. You also have the compulsory courses, which are mandatory for all the students in the course, and some elective or optional courses that you may decide according to your interests. At the end, all the students have to complete a final project in order to get the degree. If you want more information, you have access here. You have the link to the UOC's webpage, in which you have all the information about the program. Okay. So I would just, I don't intend to go into the detail of each course within the degree, because we will have to be efficient as well here in this session. I would just like to talk a bit about the areas that we try to cover within this degree. As you can see, we have compulsory and elective courses, and within the compulsory courses and the elective ones as well, we try to cover both the technical and non-technical skills that we mentioned previously. So first of all, we try to cover both the basic programming side of development and also the software engineering side. Also, we try to cover different platforms, like, for example, presenting web technologies and mobile technologies. We also provide the math foundations in order to program effectively. We also go into details about the computer structure to understand how the computer works, how the networks and distributed system works, how the database engines that we are going to use also work. And we also consider other aspects that we already mentioned, like, for example, the user experience, some business knowledge in order to be able to deal with the stakeholders, and the communication and soft skills that you need in order to perform your work effectively. We will also have the opportunity to see some application domains in the elective courses, so you can pick and choose whatever interests you the most. Okay, and finally, we also have the project side, in which, for example, you have the final project that you need to complete. Okay, and the internship in a company is also a project, but it is an elective course. So this is something that you may decide whether you want to take or not. So this is the list of courses that correspond to these areas that we mentioned previously. So just a heads up, we have not completed the complete deployment of all the courses in the degree. So right now, more or less, like the two first year are almost completely deployed, but some of the courses will be deployed in the next semester. So if you start now, this is not something that should worry you. But if you are looking for a particular course, you may find out that maybe this course is not opening now, but it's opening in September, for example. So you might have to wait for one semester if you're interested in a particular course. Okay. So this is more or less the structure of the course. As I said, the course corresponds to three years for students studying full time. So this would be like 5 courses per semester. If you're studying part-time, of course, we understand that you're not going to take this. You're probably going to take 2 or 3 courses per semester. So the length of the degree will be longer. Okay. So let me go a bit into detail about how these courses work. First of all, you have a virtual classroom in which you have all the resources and all the tools that you need in order to study that course. You have the teaching staff, which is assigned to that particular course. You have the other students that you will be sharing the course with, and you have the communication tools that you can use in order to interact with all of them. You also have a schedule, because we propose a set of activities that you should undertake in order to complete the course effectively. Okay, and if you have any doubts about the course material, the activities, or whatever, you can always ask the teaching staff for assistance. The activity within the course is guided through the assessment that we do, which is based on challenges. So we propose a set of challenges that you have to solve during the semester. They are very practical in nature, and they try to be as realistic as possible. And for example, they might be programming assignments, or might be case studies of projects of real organizations. And we try, as we said, to make them as close to the practical professional practice as possible. Okay. So these assessment activities are the ones that motivate these challenges are what motivates learning. Okay, you will learn in order to solve a challenge. You will learn the different competencies that you will need in order to complete the challenge. So the assessment process is based around continuous assessment, because this kind of degree is not well suited for a final exam. There are some courses that have final exams as well. But typically what you have are assessment activities in which you gradually acquire the competencies of the course. And if you have to perform, for example, you have to complete a very large programming assignment, it's typically broken into small pieces so that you learn progressively the content of the course. Okay. So in addition to possibly more theoretical continuous assessment test, you have these practical activities that I mentioned before. One of the most important components of this assessment process is the feedback part. So whenever you're taking this assessment, you receive feedback from your instructor regarding whether you did well or not, which were the problems that were there, and how to improve, because this is, I think, it's the most important part of the assessment process. Okay, and finally, you also have learning materials that can help you in order to perform all this learning. You have from course materials, you have guides, you have examples of activities, you have code samples, for example, and you also have and you also have virtual laboratories where you can undertake your practical activities. Okay, for example, so you have for a programming course, you would have a virtual programming lab where you can get advice, for example, on installing particular programs, on how to operate a particular program. I would not I would also like to talk a bit about the academic staff that will be helping you and assisting you during all this process. I would like to talk mainly about two profiles. First is the tutor, is the person who will guide you through the entire degree. Maybe if you have already requested admission at the program, you already know your tutor. He's the person who will guide you through all the entire degree, and he will help you with all the administrative tasks, for example, like the admission process, the enrollment process, if you want to recognize some of the credits from your previous education and so on. He will also be able to answer any doubt you have about the procedures, the courses, and so on. And as we choose professionals for this role, he might also be able to provide you with useful career advice. For example, we try to select this, as we said, professionals, and also people who have previously studied at UOC. In this way, they also have their own personal experience studying at UOC and can provide you personal tips from their time at UOC. Okay, so they are also experts in the program and can answer any question that you have regarding that. This would be like the tutor, but we also have the course instructor and the coordinating professor. So these are the lecturers that are in charge of teaching a particular course. The coordinating professor is in charge of a team of course instructors, and within each of the virtual classrooms that you will find one course instructor that will be the person you will interact with during your course. Okay, this person is an expert on the field that is taught in that particular course. They typically have a research experience on the field, or they have professional experience, and they also have experience teaching these contents online. Okay, and these people are the people who will present you the course. They will describe and explain the plan that you need to follow in order to complete the course, answer any questions that you may have, and they are the ones who will be proposing the assessment activities as well, and they will be assessing and grading these assessment activities and providing feedback. So this is something that I think it's very relevant, because you are not alone. You have other, in addition to your peers, you always have a lecturer, someone from the teaching staff that can help you solve your problems. Okay, so I would just like to go into more detail about some specific aspects of the degree. The first one is one question that I get asked very often is, what are the particular technologies that we study in this degree? So we have, so as one of the main focuses of the degree is software development. So we have lots of technologies that deal with that. So we have from programming languages, either for desktop applications, for web applications, or for mobile applications. We have database engines, we have software development tools and integrated development environments, or source code management systems. We also have tools for prototyping in order to create like mock-ups in order before going into the implementation of a particular system. You want to create a demo, for example. I would just like to point out that this list is not final. This is the list that we have today, but if you take a long time before taking a particular course, you may find that the particular language has changed, because we try to adapt the technologies that we use to the particular needs of the profession, okay, on the moment, okay. In addition to this, another of the focuses in this degree is managing the system administration part. So once you have deployed and you have developed an application, you also need to make sure that this application runs smoothly, is secure, and uses the proper amount of resources, okay, in order to scale properly. So to do that, we also work with different technologies regarding the managing operating system networks, and also managing cloud services, okay. And this, as I mentioned before, these are the technologies that we are using today, but every semester we try to introduce changes and to introduce the latest trends into the courses that we teach. So I would just, in order to complete my presentation of the degree, I just wanted to highlight some of the aspects. So why do we think that UOC could be a good idea, for a good choice for you if you're thinking about studying a software development degree? So first of all, I would like to highlight the fact that our experience. So UOC has 25 years of experience in teaching online, and this means that we have a lot of experience in the difficulties in learning online. And well, we have a methodology and we have tools that are proven and that are tested, and also the professionals involved in the learning process are experienced, and this is something that is always a plus. Then you have to consider that this is an official degree in the European higher education area. This is something important because for some positions you might be requested, you may be required to have an official degree, and this is something, well, this may be important depending on your interests. Also, something important is UOC's learning model. So most of you probably have a main professional activity, or maybe have your family commitments and so on. So you are not, most of you are probably not studying full time. UOC's learning model tries to adapt to that. You have asynchronous activities and asynchronous communication. You have the schedule that will help you organize your time. So this model is designed in order to facilitate your learning, because we understand that you need to make the most of your time, and this is one of the strengths of UOC's learning model. I have already mentioned that the teaching staff is one of the benefits of this degree, and we also having a mixture of academics and professionals is something important, because you get the best of both worlds. You get both information regarding research developments, and you also learn from professional practice from seasoned professionals. Finally, well, we have research experience in the field of software development and computer science. We have specifically, we have one research group at UOC which focuses on software development and software engineering. And we also think that this is important in order to include, well, every new aspect that we can into this degree. Also, the assessment process, as we mentioned before, focuses mostly on practical activities. This is something very important because well, software development is a very applied profession. And also the fact that you have virtual laboratories where you can get feedback regarding any issue that you have with the software you're using. We believe that this is something very important as well for a technical degree. Okay, so these are what we consider the main strengths about the degree. I would just like to remind you that at the end of the session, we will have some space for questions. So if you already have some questions, maybe you can start sending them in, and at the end of this presentation, I will start answering them. Okay, so what to do if you are interested in this degree? So the first step that you should do is what we call applying for admission. You have to go to the website of the bachelor's degree, and at the right you see an option which is apply for admission. And this is a process which is free. There is no commitment. The only thing that happens is when you do it, you get access to UOC's virtual campus, and you are given a username and a password so that you can log in, and you are assigned to a tutor that can give you additional information regarding the degree, regarding the procedures that you need to complete in order to enroll into the program, whether if you have, let's say, previous education, whether you can recognize or not your previous education, and so on. And he will also help you submitting your enrollment proposal for the first semesters, in particular, in which you might not know which courses to start with. He will be very helpful in this process. So if you're interested, I would like to encourage you to go there and apply for admission if you haven't done so already. Finally, a question that gets asked very often is from students, because I know that many people are students from Spain who have a previous degree in ciclo formativo de grado superior. I would just like to remind you that you may validate some of the knowledge that you have already covered in your previous ciclo formativo in the bachelor's degree. Okay, your tutor will help you with this process. You have the information in the procedure section in the virtual campus if you want to know more. I just wanted to highlight a couple of these ciclos formativos where this recognition is possible. Okay, there are more of them, but just so that you know. Okay, so to complete, if you want to know more information about the degree, or you want to know more information about the Faculty of Computer Science at UOC, I just would like to point out that we are connected. We are part of the social network, so you can find information about us in our Facebook page, our Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. And you can find videos about the activities that are taking place at the faculty, YouTube, for example, like this session, for example. So I would just like to encourage you, if you want to know more, you have all the information there. Okay. So now I would like to move on to a video, a very short video that explains a bit about what it is like to study at UOC. And after the video, I will be available for answering any question that you may have. So you may want to start sending them in. And now I leave you with this video. Thank you for your attention.
I would never have thought that a university could adapt so well to the way I live my life. The UOC is an online university where you don't have to worry about the time or the place. It lets me study whenever and wherever I want. Right from the start, I've had a calendar with the deadlines for each course, which has helped me organize my time. I choose my courses depending on the time I have available, and always with advice from my tutor.
I like the dynamic way we learn, using all the different resources we have available for each course. I get personalized feedback from the instructor on each activity I submit, which helps me learn and strengthen my knowledge.
The activities set provide tools to interpret the world and sharpen my critical eye. They're based on real professional situations that I could find in my day-to-day life. I've learned a lot from my classmates in the teamwork activities. They're able to share many different points of view. The walk is able to adapt to my pace of study and lets me do everything I want.
I learn continuously and actively every day.
At the UOC, I have to face practical situations that will prepare me for my future career.
Well, welcome back. And now I will start answering the questions that you have posted in the chat. If you have more questions, you can go ahead and add them there. I will go sequentially. I see that there are some questions that might be repeated, so I will try to answer as many as I can together if they are about the same topic. Okay, so the first question is regarding the new education law that has been passed in Spain and its impact regarding the degrees with 180 ECTS credits. Okay, so first of all, in case you don't know, in Spain, most degrees are 240 ECTS credits. The law allowed for degrees with 180 ECTS until recently, in which a new law is trying to get all most of the degrees adapted from 100 ECTS to 240 ECTS credits. Okay, so what this means is that, for example, the first thing is that there is a limited period of time in which you can join this degree. So you will not be able to join this degree after February 2023. Okay, so the next February will be the last opportunity that you will have to join this degree. After that, after September 2023, what will happen is that new students will not be able to join the program. Okay. What happens to the students that are already within the program? The students that are already within the program will have 6 academic years that is 12 semesters more to complete the bachelor's degree. This means that starting from September 2023, you will have, if you have not completed your degree by that time, which is expected if you are not studying full-time and you don't have lots of credits to be recognized from other degrees, you will still have 12 semesters to complete the degree with 180 CTS credits, okay? What this means, and if you get whenever you get the bachelor's degree, no matter if it's before September 2023 or if it's later, it is still an official bachelor's degree. It does not lose its official status if you are already in the degree. If you have entered into an official degree and you get your final degree, you complete the degree, what you have is an official bachelor's program. Okay, this is not something that you will lose, and it will not happen that when people that have a previous 180 CTS credits, they lose their degree. It does not work this way. It means that new degrees should have 240, but for previous ones, they are still valid degrees. Okay, so for this, I think I answered the first couple of questions regarding this new law and regarding whether there is a deadline to complete the program with these 180 CTS credits. Okay, another question is regarding the level of English required in order to access the program. So yes, this is something that is very important. This is something that I did not mention before. And this is a very nice question. Thank you. So in order to access this program, we ask for a B2 English level at the moment of entry. So that if you do not have a B2 level, you will need to take a test in order to certify that you have this level. This is for your own protection, because if you don't have the B2 level, you will not have a sufficient level of English to follow the courses, because the course material, the interactions with the teaching staff, the assessment activities will all be in English. So you need the B2 level in order to access the program. Whether it only, so what we are looking for are official certifications of this B2 level or tests for the level of competency in English. So these tests for the level of competency in English include all kind of English skills. So yes, you also have to have a B2 level of English in spoken skills, because you might have to do a presentation as a part of one of your assessment activities. So you also need to be able to speak in English effectively. Okay, I have another question from another student. Whether he or she can have problems accessing a master's degree because she has completed a 180 CTS credit bachelor's degree. So first of all, each master's degree has its own admission requirements. For example, if you want to study a master's in telecommunications engineering, you need to have a bachelor's degree in telecommunications engineering. You cannot have any other kind of degree. In the same way, other master's programs may include their own requirements for entry. Nevertheless, in order to access a master's degree, what they require is a bachelor's degree. It's not necessary to have a 240 CTS credit degree. In fact, for example, students from Europe that try to access master's program in Spain, all of them have 180 CTS credits, bachelor's degrees, and they can access master's programs normally. The only thing that you have to take into account is that if you want to apply for a PhD in the future, between the bachelor and the master, you need to complete 300 ECTS credits. This means that you have to choose a master's programs with 120 ECTS credits, if your goal is applying for a PhD in the future. Other than this, there are no limitations due to the fact that your bachelor's degree has 180 ECTS credits. Okay, Another student is asking about the specific recognitions from a specific ciclo formativo. Yes, if you go into the, in order to take a look at the specific list, I would recommend that you go into the procedure section in the virtual campus. There you will have a list of all the ciclos formativos that you can access from as a source of as your prior education, and you will find a specific list of courses that you can take. Yeah, but the course that he was mentioning, Desarrollo de Aplicaciones Web, is one of the programs that has it has a high number. I don't remember the specific number of credits for this specific degree, but you can take a look at that at the procedure section, or you can contact me after this presentation, and I will send you the information. Okay. So another student is saying that she already has the B2 level, and asking whether if she has a higher level of English, she can validate additional credits. No, no, we do not validate additional credit if you have a higher level of English other than B2. B2 is the requirement for entry, but you do not get additional credits for providing a higher level of competency. I'm sorry. Okay. Another student is asking whether, that he has a computer engineering bachelor's degree, and he asked whether it would be possible to validate credits in order to get a double certificate. Well, you can validate all the courses that you have taken in your computer engineering degree into this course. There will be some courses that you will see that probably are more related to multimedia, for example, like web development, mobile app development, or cloud computing, that might not be part of your, I mean, it's hard for me to foresee that you might be able to validate all of the courses. There are always be some parts that you probably will not be able to get. I would question regarding the utility of this, and also take into account that once you have one degree, bachelor's degree, if you want to get a second bachelor's degree, the price of the credits is higher. So you always will have, for example, to complete the final project, and you will also have to complete other courses, and you will have to pay more for your courses, as this will be your second degree. And again, having a bachelor's and a master's may provide you some professional advantages, but having two degrees that are quite related to each other and are at the same level, so are both bachelor degrees, I would say they will not, it's not something useful to you. I mean, you can do it, but I would not recommend you to do it. I don't think it's in your best interest. Okay. Regarding the tools going to be used remotely, whether there are specific hardware requirements. Very good question as well. So what we have is that you can, well, we are using for the technical part, I mean, you can work both in Linux systems, you can work with Windows systems. These are not strong requirements. There are some minimum requirements regarding the capacity of your computer. For example, some minimum amount of RAM memory, and also the speed of the computer. You can find more information about the access requirements in the web page, the specific RAM memory that we recommend, the specific models. Also, there is a specific comment for those of you who use Mac systems. There are some courses regarding computer architecture that are using virtualization, so virtual machines. Those of you who have a very recent Apple machine, like an M1 computer or later, there might be some problems with the virtualization part. Because this is not this virtual machine and virtualization software has some issues with hardware acceleration for those platforms. If you have one of these very recent Mac computers, I would recommend to have access to Windows machine for the computer architecture, the computer structure courses, because everything might work fine, but you might find issues, and I think it's better to play safe here, and I want to provide all the information. Okay. Well, so another student asks whether the English language related credits can be recognized if you move from a different degree. Yes, you can get credit recognized if you have completed these courses. Yeah. And there is one comment that there is usually, for example, at UOC, there is one communication skills course in the computer engineering degree, which is taught in Catalan or in Spanish. What happens is we do not recognize these communication skills courses unless they are taken in the same language. So we would not recognize this English communication skills course if you have taken a communication skill course in Catalan and Spanish, and vice versa. If you take our English communication skills course, you will not be able to recognize the Spanish and Catalan ones, because these skills are very dependent on the specific language, the vocabulary, and so on. You cannot validate, you cannot recognize them. They are not equivalent, okay? So another question regarding a student who says that he has a professional experience or professional certifications, for example, in cloud platforms, and whether he can validate courses considering these certifications and experience. The answer is yes. If you have professional experience that is relevant to courses of the degree, you can validate those courses within a limit. There is a number of credits, that a maximum number of credits that you can recognize. This process is called RIPE, recognition of professional experience. Okay, and what we do is we have an agreement with the Colegio Profesional de Ingenieros Técnicos de Informática, which is a professional organization in Spain, in Catalonia, in fact. And they have a service in which they certify the professional experience of people who request this certification. So you can apply to them, and you can request. So let's say I am a seasoned mobile developer, and I would like you to provide a certificate corresponding to my level of proficiency in mobile app development. So, okay, so they look at your curriculum, they look at your education, you look at your professional certifications and your work experience, and they provide a certificate with the level of proficiency that you have. And we have equivalency table. So if the Colegio Profesional certifies that you have a given level of proficiency, we certify the equivalent course. And yeah, and this is something that you can always do. You can do it when you get into the program, and you can do it later. Okay. Regarding whether you can certify your level of English if you have been working or living in another country. Interesting question. So there are some ways in which you can validate, you can certify, you can get this requirement, entry requirement, you can get it for free, yeah, I can say, without having to take a test or provide a certification. For example, if you have already completed a degree, a university degree in another language, for example, or if you have completed your higher education in English, for example, if you have been living in England and you have completed and you took all your higher education there, and then you don't need to provide any kind of certificate. There is, in the web page of the program, you have a list of the different alternative ways in which you can certify your level of English, which some of them are the ones that I have mentioned. But I'm afraid that providing, like, let's say I have lived for X years in the US or UK or Australia or any other country, I am afraid this is not a sufficient proof. Nevertheless, something that you can do is you can take a test which is called Lingua Skill, which is a virtual test. You don't need to go face to any location. You can take it online. It's very fast. And there you can certify your level of English. So if you have worked for 5 years in the UK, you will get the necessary level. Definitely, you will definitely get it. So you will have no problem accessing the degree. Okay. But you still have to, I'm afraid you still have to provide this kind of certificate. You have to pass this test. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. Okay. Another student asked whether this bachelor's degree is the same as software engineering. Well, yeah, software engineering is an important part of this degree. I don't know if she was referring to the software engineering itinerary in the computer engineering degree. It has some, I mean, both degrees are related, but they don't have a perfect intersection. For example, we have more contents related to system administration, for example, like cloud computing. We have more contents related to development for particular platforms, like web development or mobile development. And I don't know if I answered your question, but as I mentioned, yes, software engineering is a part of the degree. If you refer to the software engineering, computer engineering itinerary, then there is some overlap, but it's not a perfect overlap. So it's also not a subset. So there are also some contents in this degree, as I mentioned before, that are not included. Usually, typically, in computer engineering degrees in the software engineering itinerary. Okay, another student is asking whether he can complete the degree on Mac with Apple Silicon. I mentioned before, for 95% of the courses, yes, you can. But for the computer architecture courses that rely on virtualization, as of today, some of the virtualization software have problems with hardware acceleration. And I would recommend having a backup Windows system for solving activities for these specific courses. For older Mac machines, there's no problem. Virtualization works fine there. But just for the newest one, and also this is something that happens today. Maybe in 6 months, 1 year, this issue has already been addressed. So this M1 platform and so on is something a bit recent. So maybe in some months or in a year, these issues addressed. I just wanted to provide all the information up front. Okay, yeah. She was asking whether the internship is optional or not. Yeah, the internship is completely optional. Yeah, because I know that many people who study this degree are people who are working already in a company. So it would be hard for them to do an internship in a different company while they are working on their own. Okay. Regarding the internships, what we have is we have a set of companies that that offer positions for internships within the degree, and this is something that can be offered. I'm not completely sure about the legality of doing an internship in a company in which you are already working. This is something that I would say it's against the spirit of the internship. I don't know if it's against the rule or the law, but I would say it's against the spirit for that. And I would not recommend you to do that. If you want to avoid that, what you can do is you can apply for the recognition of professional experience that I mentioned before, and you can recognize your internship if you already work in a company and you have this professional experience, rather than selling the work that you're already doing at your company as an internship. You can already recognize that and just do it in the proper way. Okay, I think I have answered quite a few questions. I don't know, I will leave the chat open for a few minutes to see whether there are some more questions. I would like to take the opportunity to thank you all for your participation. Sometimes it's hard to start asking questions, and it's good that many of you have had the courage ask your doubts here. Thank you very much. Okay. It seems that there are no more questions so far. I will just let me see. No, the internship is elective. If you don't want to do the internship, you can just take alternative courses from the elective courses. Like, for example, I don't know, embedded systems, information systems. There are several courses that you may want to take. You have several alternative courses. Okay. So if this is all, I would just like to thank you again for joining me today. If you are interested in the program, just to remind you to apply for admission and just to ask your tutor for more information. If you want to contact me, as I mentioned before, my name is Robert Clarisó. Here you have my email address. I'm open to answer any question you may have, and you also have more information on the website of the program. Thank you. Take care and see you around in the virtual campus.